So, hey, Sophia, thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Mary, and this is my friend Sophia. Sophia, take a minute to introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Sofia Zagani, and I'm an ESL teacher at the CGS. I'm very happy to chit chat with Mary today.
Thanks, Sophia. And I'm Mary D. Simone. I own Mountaintop Education Consulting. And I asked my friend Sophia to talk with us today about Ramadan. As a teacher in the public schools, I know I had a lot of students who celebrated it, and I really didn't know a lot about what was going on in their lives. And I want to make sure that teachers now know how to support their students more than I did. And I know Sophia's been on the same mission. So, Sophia, can you first start with talking about just the wording around Ramadan? Is it an observance? Are you celebrating? How do we start talking about that?
So, Ramadan itself, the word Ramadan brings a lot of excitement to us as Muslim community, especially here in the US. Like we're immigrants, we're trying to get together to just observe Ramadan each and every year because it's different. So it follows the lunar calendar, and it happens in um, every year is different. It can be in August, it can be in July, it can be in September. Well, thank God this year is going to be April. It's not going to be, so it's like end of March and April. It's not going to be hot. This is not going to be a concern, but it's a happiness, it's a joy. It's a very special month, not day, not
Mhm.
like 2 days, not a week. It's a whole month, 30 days of celebrations, fasting, getting together, friends and family. And, it's every day, like long prayers at night. But let's talk a little bit about Ramadan. What's Ramadan?
Yeah.
So, the Muslim community usually we're waiting for this email from Roxbury Mosque, the one that is responsible of like emailing us about like when Ramadan is gonna happen. Like this year, the first day is gonna be Thursday, the 23rd of March. So it's gonna be the first day when we gonna start fasting from sunrise to sunset, which basically about 4 in the morning, we can have like a small breakfast, and then
Mhm.
we don't eat, we don't drink at all. So we cannot drink or eat at all until the sunset, which is about 7 o'clock. That's basically Ramadan, and every day it goes like by a minute. Like if we gonna break the fasting today at 7, tomorrow is going to be 7:01. It's very tricky, but that's
Okay.
how it goes. Like
Yeah.
um day 30 of Ramadan is the biggest celebration of the year. So we it's basically what's happening during Christmas.
Mm.
Gift, new clothes, but mainly big prayers in the morning. It start at 5 o'clock, and then we start celebrating. We gather like community, like we have a huge community. I need to travel to Boston, from Methuen to Boston, to see my friends and to celebrate in so many different ways. But celebration is celebration, it's bringing happiness. Yeah, that's basically Ramadan.
So you had mentioned the fasting, and I think that's one of the biggest pieces that we think of in the schools and for
Yes.
the students there. So what ages are students starting to fast?
So let's start with the girls. The girls are
Mhm.
like more clear. You can, as moms, we can see. I'm a mom of two kids. Sufian is 11 and Yasmin is 15. So the first period of the girl, like when she has her first period, that's the signal she's ready. But does not have to be necessarily the first period, because my own daughter, she has her period at the age of 10, and she was very young to do the whole 30 days. I offered with a word, of course, I need to encourage the fact that she was ready, but she wasn't ready at the same time because she was very young. So she was fasting a couple days during MCAS. I didn't let her fast.
Mhm.
Days I didn't let her fast, and when she was sometimes she wasn't feeling good, and I said, well, this is not the best time to do a Ramadan. So I understand as a mom when she can do it, and the time when she cannot do it. And like at the age of 13 they might be ready, because physically they grow older. And if their parents see that they can handle it, I feel like most of the parents are very responsible, and they know when their kids can do it. But Ramadan in the public school, that's a big question.
Yeah.
um,
So where parents are making their decision based on their children's readiness as a teacher, maybe in fourth grade, I might be starting to become more aware of students in my class might be fasting. Is that
yes.
true?
Well, we're not talking about K1, 2, and like those ages are
Okay.
very young. Like starting at the age of fourth grade, you might see
Okay.
your students not eating or no fasting. It's okay to ask, like, why aren't you eating, honey? They might feel comfortable to say, oh, this is Ramadan. This is the time of the year when my families like celebrate this special time, and we don't eat, we don't drink, but at the end of the day, yes, we do. We can eat and we can drink.
Yeah.
Some of them, they can say, I don't feel like it today. They might hide it.
Mhm.
That's when I can go to my computer and Google and see if this is the time for this kid not to eat or not to
Mhm.
drink. It won't be harmful to send an email to their parents respectfully and ask like a question. Yeah, like I've seen most recently that your kid is not eating or drinking, and I'm just curious about
Good.
like the reason why. And I
Yeah,
feel
a great way
like,
to connect with the family too and show support. And how
yes,
else, as a teacher, how else can we support our students in class? Um, both so they feel comfortable and they're successful. Because I imagine academically it's also difficult, especially by the end of the day.
yes, yes. So you might see your students a little bit exhausted than usual, not having a lot of energy. I'm going to explain the reason why they might look that way, because they need to wake up early in the morning to eat
Mhm.
something, to eat little things, so they can like usually it's date and milk and stuff like that to keep the body energetic. And those, like, it's a schedule. The change of the schedule may affect your students for at least the first week. So we are not asking the students why they're exhausted, or we might send them to wash their face, for example, or to take a little break in between. If we have like a long hour, like a whole hour to do their work, we might definitely ask if they need a break or stuff like that. But the schedule is changing 100%, because after they break their fasting, they need time to for the food to digest. And sometimes, like myself, we do end of the day prayers, and it takes a little bit longer than usual. If they're ready, if they're sleepy, they can go ahead and sleep. So I'm not putting any pressure, but definitely there is a change in their schedule, and it's a little bit hard for the first days of Ramadan.
So that's interesting because I didn't even think of the homework piece.
Yes.
But the time that they have available to spend working at home on their schoolwork is going to change as well.
Yes, 100,
Yeah.
100%. Well, for my own kids, sometimes they feel ready to do their homework before they break their fasting.
Mhm.
Sometimes they're not. Like we have a schedule. I have a schedule for homework. So, for example, if we eat at 7:30, and that's usually the time, 7:30, like after that they can go ahead and do their homework. And if they feel sometimes that they can do their homework like during the day, especially weekends where they don't have school, they can do it a little bit earlier on the day. But like you can see a little bit of tiredness. They're a little bit not energetic, and it's okay. They're gonna get adjusted with the schedule after 1 week, and you're gonna see your students back to their energy. So don't worry about this piece. It's totally fine.
And another thing you had mentioned to me that was really interesting that again hadn't crossed my mind was
Yeah.
physical education class.
Yes.
So how can phys
For
ed teachers be
for
considerate and respectful of those
yes.
celebrating Ramadan?
For physical education, especially PE teachers, I'm asking them, like, please, please, please do not make your student run or do outside activities, especially when it's hot. Like 70 degrees is hot, like it's hard. It's going to be hard for your students to run when it's hot and not being able to get some water after that. So what I'm like, my thinking is it will be wonderful to give choices. Like if sometimes they're ready to do their activities, because some students are stronger than others, and I've seen that in my daughter. My daughter was pretty strong versus my son. Well, because my son likes to eat a lot, and that can affect sometimes how they respond to the fasting. But I would love PE teachers to offer, would you like to sit and watch your classmates doing this? Or would you like to be part of it for just 10
Mhm.
minutes? It will be really nice to come from the teacher and not wait for the students to go and
Um,
say, I'm sorry, I cannot do this at the moment because I'm fasting. I want teachers to be aware before the students is going to be taking this initiative or to initiate to speak for themselves. It's really hard because
Right.
advocating for yourself is usually like you think once and twice while everybody is eating and drinking, you're going to get a lot of questions about why.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that brings us to another point, right? So if we see a student in the cafeteria who's not eating, you had mentioned this case with your daughter, and day
yeah,
after day,
yes,
kids are asking her, why aren't you eating? When do you get to eat again?
yes,
One of the suggestions you had was some sort of like a newsletter and an email, let people know what's going on
yes,
through the school, kind of
yep,
sharing that this is a big and important time, and you're going to see some different things from people celebrating.
yep. So 100%. Just a newsletter. It will be awesome if we can send a newsletter at this point, at this period of time, and say, well, Ramadan, this is the time for Ramadan for our Muslim community, and like, let's be aware of this and this and that. It will be so wonderful. And it's like, it's a huge, like, I don't know how to express how we feel when when people recognize, especially teachers, schools recognize this
Mhm.
very special period of time. And when they say Ramadan, now it's the time for Ramadan, so let's show respect and let's consider that our students are going to be fasting, and just to make our teachers aware of all the things, the changes that are may like happen or may not. You might see it as you might not see it, but usually it's hard for the students um to talk about it.
Yeah, I think that really brings us to the point of creating that inclusive environment that you were talking about, and making them feel welcome. And if they're seen for what they are celebrating and who they are and what their community is doing, um, and teachers sometimes just need to take that first step in asking it. Advocating for ourselves as adults can be hard.
Yes.
Expecting students to do it is especially hard, I think. You
Well,
had
even
Go
for
ahead.
myself as a sorry, Mary, even for myself as a teacher, I feel like um I had to keep repeating myself for 8 years now, working at a public school. And like people are asking me, not even water. Same people, same question, not even water. No, 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 I cannot. Or just offer, like, do you have a snack today? I didn't see you eating yet. Well, no, I'm not eating yet because I'm waiting for the end of the day. Um, so I feel like teachers need to know a little bit more about Ramadan. So it's like that's what it make students feeling respected
Mhm.
and comfortable doing their daily routine, their daily work without feeling that people are watching them because they're doing something weird.
Yeah.
It's not weird. They're just
No.
celebrating their religion, their special period of the year. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And one last thing I want to touch on that we had spoken about earlier was what parents' concerns might be sending their kids to school during Ramadan.
Yes. So as a mom, my first concern was m- like emotionally, how my daughter was gonna feel because she was the 1% out of the 90% of people. I was watching her and everybody was eating,
Mm.
but she was watching and she was drawing. And it was a little bit like looking at that whole scenario was difficult for me as a mom to have her or they made her sit with other friends because they didn't know that she had to fast
Mm.
and she couldn't say that she had her period and she's ready to fast. It was a whole like it was a long explanation for her to talk about it. So
Right.
I decided to go to the principal at that time and talk to the principal if they can make like a little spot for her to yeah, to be
Mm.
exempt from sitting with all the kids at that time. It's just 20 minutes.
Right.
So yeah, and I was very lucky when they said yes, but she decided to be in the middle of the cafeteria talking about Ramadan
Good for her.
and
She should.
explaining why after just 2 days. And she was telling people why she is not eating and drinking. We got
Yeah.
all the respect, and they were encouraging her and how strong. And of course, I give her a gift because she was able to advocate and to talk about what we celebrate at home, and that's so
Yeah.
wonderful. But I cannot guarantee that some other kids, which I understand,
Mhm.
they just decide to hide it and not to talk about it.
Yeah.
So
And I think that's where, when you mentioned earlier, the idea of choice, right?
yes,
So being prepared, there's going to be some students who are fine in the cafeteria and want to eat with their friends and are going to be talking about it and are willing to share in class, what this holiday is about and what they're doing. And there's going to be others who might not want to be with their friends during lunch. Maybe if there's a space set aside for that, you might give them the option to share with their friends in class what Ramadan is about. They might not want to,
yep,
and that's fine too.
yes,
Right, that's fine too, but just as the teacher role, taking that first step, and the school role, taking that first step and making sure that we know all of our students are seen, and
yes.
and we want
I,
to learn from them as well.
I would like to add something like,
Hmm.
and I would like to add that teacher, like any teacher, um, cannot offer food or drink because breaking a day from Ramadan, they have to make it up after Ramadan. And for any student, this is going to be a punishment. So
Yeah.
not only like a double punishment because parents, they're not going to be happy if you offer food or water. I believe that all Muslim parents, they know and they're responsible of their kids and they know how to treat Ramadan very well because they've done it before. I've done Ramadan when I was 11 and I did the whole month and I was fine. I was just waiting for my gift
Yeah.
um, on the 30th. So
Yeah.
please, please, please do not offer water or force your student to drink because like I'm sure that students love their teachers and sometimes
Mhm.
they like to satisfy them, but this is breaking one of the standards of like fasting is not food, no water. And that what it makes their parents really upset. We don't want to upset their parents. We want to show respect
Mhm.
versus doing it's not our way, it's their way, what they want, their students to do and what they want, like their own children to maybe to show to others that they're not drinking, they're not eating, and they can't do it. Teachers, please do not offer food, do not offer water unless you ask. It can be like a quick phone call if you have concerns. If you see like your students struggling, a quick grab your phone or email. They'll be more than happy to tell you yes or no. But do not offer snacks, do not offer water, do not offer food.
Yeah, and recognizing it probably comes from best intentions, right?
Yes,
But it's that awareness now, and having that family engagement and communication back and forth. So we're both on the same page with that.
yes.
Is there
Yes.
anything else, Sophia, you wanted to add? Because I feel like I've learned a lot. You've helped me so much.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, just like a happy Ramadan in the first day can make a huge difference. Just if you greet them with like, yeah, I know that this is your first day of Ramadan. I'm very excited. Please say happy Ramadan from me, like as teacher, or just a quick email to their parents, happy Ramadan. That this is a huge deal. It's like it's gonna encourage, it's gonna reinforce your relationship with the parents. It's gonna reinforce like, and that's what they're gonna remember. Like they're gonna remember that Mrs. Desimon told me happy Ramadan.
Mhm.
And this is wonderful. You know, we cannot stop talking about teachers who said happy Ramadan to our students. Yes, this is the thing that I just recommend a night before, like the eve or the first day of Ramadan, or maybe the first week. It won't hurt. Like I know that teachers have a lot to do and they can forget, and it's okay. Just a happy Ramadan from you to your families. It will be really wonderful. It will be great.
I feel like you have given us our next step and next
Thank you
steps.
so much. Like I'm
Yeah,
so happy. I'm so
yeah.
happy to be here with you,
I
Mary.
really appreciate it. I think other people too will hearing this. And we've talked already about doing a few more of these to get some more information out there. So Sophia, I hope you'll join me again and we'll get to share more information. But I really appreciate you taking the time to make us more aware so we can
My
be better for
pleasure.
our students.
My pleasure anytime. Always a pleasure for me to see you, Mary. Thank you
All
so much.
right, Sophia, thank you.
Thank you.